Hello everyone, my name is Hardman Kanda and I can speak with my telepathic powers because of my amazing mustache. Today today we're doing a podcast about our opinion about the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation. There's going to be two parts. The first part we're going to talk about everything positive, and the second part we're going to about everything negative. We're going to criticize it in the second part. But we are going to start on part one, the thing that we like about the Nintendo Switch 2. So I would like everyone to introduce themselves.
Oh. Okay, I guess I'll go first. Hello folks, this is Dragon Math 02. I don't really know as much as going on with it as my friends. I haven't kept up with it as much, but I'm here to participate and be here for the heck of it because I wanted to join them in doing some things. We haven't done this in a while, and just still be a part of it and put out my deals. So, hello.
Hello, I'm Shadowblazer13. I host the tournaments for As the Spirit, and I'm also joining in on the discussion and the general talk around the Nintendo Switch 2's upcoming release, to give some opinions and perspectives about it as well, and my overall thoughts. So thank you for having me.
Hello, I'm Le Corbac. I'm a French VTuber. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about fighting games, and I participate a lot in Azure D'Esprit tournaments.
And I am Doommantis at your service, and kind of used to be the announcer of the Azure Spirits team, though kind of been away from things. So, and we're gonna be talking about kind of like our opinions of what of Nintendo's new console Switch 2 is, our opinions. So yeah.
And then my friend NGNL, he won't be participating, but he will mostly simply listen to us. But sometimes he's going to make comments like I have a wonderful mustache and things like that.
He's very
You have a
welcome.
wonderful mustache, Hardman.
Yeah, you see, like that.
Oh God.
He's very welcome to join in and kind of say like his own opinion if he wanted to.
Yeah, he's more than welcome.
He loves what he do.
Yeah, options there.
Okay, so for the first part, I want to say
that's our plans for this podcast, though. People, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So for the first part, I'm going to start by saying the thing I like about the Nintendo Switch 2, and then I will let each person say their opinion. So the thing I like about Nintendo Switch 2, that Nintendo GameCube game is finally coming to Nintendo Switch 2, which is very, very nice. And in the presentation, I found the presentation very, very good overall. And then finally we can do a voice chat in a Nintendo console, but they are 15 years too late. And then when I saw the voice chat where you can voice and the camera and all that, I said we can do all that on Discord, and the Xbox 360 can do all of that. It's like Nintendo is 15 years too late. and I'm happy that Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be backward compatible with the Switch 1 games, both physical and digitally. So that's very, very good. And what I like is that this time, for the first time in like 20 years, the new Nintendo console, there's no over-the-top gimmick. I know the gimmick is there's the mouse mode for the Joy-Con, which is a good thing because I think we can play visual novel more easily, because I play a lot of Ace Attorney game and visual novel on my Nintendo Switch. So,
but it's virtually the Switch 2 is virtually literally the same thing as a Switch 1.
Oh yes, it's basically an upgrade of the Switch 1. Yeah. And the only thing that I like that it finally catch up to the PS4 power. 10 years later, the PS4 is over 10 years. The 10 years now, so it finally
10
catch up
years.
to a 10 years old tech. So the power level is between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, from what I saw from the spec.
Nintendo
I'd say more like a PS4
finally
Pro
their
because
consoles. Finally.
Yeah, I think it's more pro.
you
that
can
it's
do
like-
a 120 FPS
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a 4K resolution. So
Well, they claim they claim 120 FPS, which
yeah, it will
That's
not be on every
claim.
game, but yeah, so some games will be compatible and 4K resolution as well. But you will not be able to have both at the same time.
yeah, you'll probably have to. It's like PlayStation 5, where you pick between like resolution and performance.
Yeah.
Except, yeah, makes sense.
So now I will let someone else speak about the positive aspect about the Nintendo Switch 2.
It's okay if I go. Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
you
the
can go.
positives I think are what you said. Like for me, I think the big thing was frame rate. Increased frame rate and resolution is a big thing. The backwards compatibility as well is nice for the library of games that I have. I'm kind of a new adapter to Switch, so to hear that there was backwards compatibility, I think was really nice. The visual presentation was nice. What they told about the system, the specs, the performance, the battery life, the fact that the dock has a built-in fan is quite cool. The display of the games as well. Overall, I think it's very exciting. I don't have as much experience with Switch or Nintendo stuff, so I'm kind of limited on what I focus on and what I play. But I think overall, like the positives of it are, it's a very similar system too. So if you are a big fan of Switch 1, obviously Switch 2 is very similar as well, in that you can kind of just go into it. You know, you're not having to learn a whole new system or get used to it. It's essentially an upgrade of what you've already previously owned. I'm looking forward to a lot of the third-party stuff that comes out. One of the Switch exclusives in terms of physical games was Cela. That was kind of my big game from my Switch library.
Which game?
So I'm looking for
Okay,
Cela. It was a farming game by Square Enix. It was a double A game. That was one of the. It was on PC, but it was a Nintendo console exclusive. So.
how do we spell that?
Oh God. One second.
What?
Harvestella.
Okay, have Stella.
HAR.
I believe I know what he's talking about. Surprisingly enough.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's hard to pronounce.
Yeah, so that's kind of my general takes on it, is just the frame rate, the resolution, and the fact that the system is very similar to the previous one, so it makes people that are like wanting to just adapt to the system a lot easier, and that's my take on it. Yeah, so overall, I thought it was a good presentation overall. Yeah, that's my take anyway.
In my case, I thought about how many games were presented for the new console.
Yeah, there was a lot.
I think it was the first time a new
there was actually,
Nintendo console had so much game. Not every game will be released at the release of the console, but they announced a ton of games. Way more than the Wii U, who only had 5 games, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so,
Yeah, when you started, they did not have a lot of mini games for it at all. When the Wii U first came out, that did not have mini games at all.
Yeah.
That took a while.
Yeah, and what is cool is that they included some kind of Discord system, even if it's not. It's only if you pay for the online, but it's still good to have something like that.
15 years later.
Yeah.
15 years later.
Even though the 360 did it in 2006, let's go!
Yeah.
And Discord is free. But,
Yeah, Discord is free.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least they did it, though. At least they finally did it. Better
Well, I
than
mean, it's
that
better than
still
the phone.
being out of date.
Yeah.
And we also have some good game from the start, like Mario Kart, obviously. We have, I don't remember the name of the game, but it's a From Software game with the vampire-like characters.
Dustborn, I forgot the name. Dustborn, Dustblood, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Duskbloods.
Something like that, yeah.
Duskbloods, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I
the
know about
FromSoft
one of those games.
exclusive,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Wait, one question. So that game is from what?
FromSoft.
So it's
from software.
It's from
software.
software.
Yeah.
It's a strange name. So it what company
Yeah.
is from what? From software. No, from. It's a weird name. From
It's a software
made,
from software.
Like Elden Ring or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I played some games that are from that, so I know what Korak's talking about. I played some games I can recall and know
Dark
for a fact
Souls.
my company name were called that.
Elden Ring. They'd be the publisher for those.
They make game like Elden Ring, right? From software.
Yeah. They made Elden Ring,
Elden Ring,
and
Dark Souls,
And Dark Souls. Okay, yes.
Bloodborne.
Dead Souls as well.
And then
Yeah.
and then I swear to you, I play some of their game. All of their games, their boss kills you in one shot. You're like,
Yeah.
and then one day I was like level 40. The boss was level 20. He still killed me one shot. It's a one-shot game. It's like your armor is useless. This game.
Yeah, some of the games, they, for some odd reason, it's like your stats and health don't mean anything, and for some odd reason, you just still easily die in those kind of games for whatever reason. I don't know why they made their games like that, where you just die easily for no reason. I don't understand it either.
Oh yeah,
It's
I know we are going.
weird.
I know we are going a bit off topic, but I need to say this. One day I think it was Elden Ring I played. I went to a secret passage I never went before. I went to a dark dungeon. I said, "What is this?" I entered. There was a giant dragon. He just killed me just by looking at me, and I died. I said, "Okay, I'm not going there ever again. I'm not strong enough." He's so strong. He just looked at me, and I died. I said, "What was that?"
Yeah, games like that, that's like with Dark Souls and stuff. You literally got to be careful where you walk into, because enemies literally, the moment they hit you, if it's a chain or a single hit, it can pretty much kill you.
Your voice is cutting.
You have to take it, and it's like punishment about that.
Yeah, it's you're breaking up there.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no,
That's my phone for you.
Okay, so back to the topic. Sorry, I'll come back. We just cut your parole, so you can continue.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
There's the new Donkey Kong game that is promising too. I don't really like Donkey Kong design, but the game feels like it's going to be a really good game. Similar to Donkey Kong 64 back from Nintendo 64, but now it's like a new game.
Yeah, I've always liked the series too. A lot of the Donkey Kongs I played were more of the
The 2D ones?
No, I think I might be thinking of a different game.
Donkey Kong Country.
I think didn't they come out with a Super Nintendo at one point too?
Yes.
Wasn't there some of the yeah. Okay, yeah, no, I like
Country.
the Super Nintendo one.
2 and Country 3.
Yeah, like I like that series personally.
Yeah.
I've always thought they were a good game.
Donkey Kong Country 2 is the best Donkey Kong game ever made, and no Donkey Kong game will surpass that game. And I'm ready to debate everyone who don't agree. Come on, any disagreements, I'm ready to debate.
What about Donkey Kong Country Return?
Donkey Kong, yes, that's good, but it's not as good as the original because it's too easy. Donkey Kong Country Return and Donkey Kong Freeze, they are good, but it's too easy compared to the one at Super Nintendo. I remember in Return, if you lose like 10 life, there's like the auto scoring mode to help you pass the level. I said, what?
Yeah.
Something like that. It ruins the fun of beating a hard level by yourself. So because of that, that simple aspect, it's too easy to be as good as the one in Super Nintendo. I remember in Super Nintendo.
The funny thing, this mode, this auto mode, I think I have not seen it when I played Returns, because I didn't manage to die like 10 times.
Yeah, I have to admit, I enjoyed the game, but I agree it was difficult enough to where, I mean, I think the ones I played it have such a mode, but I even I had one. I definitely would. I struggled to beat. It took me a while. That game was not easy. It was fun, but my god, it was not easy. Some stages were hard.
I understood about the half of what you said because it was cutting.
Yeah,
I managed to understand
Which
that.
game you talk about?
I don't know what to tell you about my phone. I don't know how to fix it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Which game did you talk about?
I was referring to the game you're talking about. The
Donkey Kong one, I think it was.
Donkey Kong series as a whole. I was referring to Donkey Kong as a whole.
Okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
see.
Okay.
Anything
I
else you
think
wanna add?
that's all for me. For now, I don't have any more positive things to say about.
Okay.
I have a lot of negative things to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're done, then I'll start my positives. Like the direct, it was actually a really good direct. It wasn't like just the hardware talk of the Switch 2. It started off with like all the hardware stuff with the Switch 2, which I'm glad that they're putting in more power. It has like a lot more storage. Very smart call of making have the Switch 2 able to be backward compatible with Switch 1.
Mhm.
When they were talking about the Nintendo Switch online service thing and like kind of talking about that a bit, when they said they got something to announce about it, the first thing I said was GameCube, and it showed the GameCube kind of startup thing.
Mhm.
And a little bit missed opportunity on the GameCube one. They could have as like a little nod of the like the GameCube meme where it kind of starts up with the GameCube and then at the end it then like kind of like swaps to like a different image or something like that.
Oh yeah.
They should have like kind of as like a little nod of it, kind of done like the whole like GameCube startup. Then at the end it then switched to the Switch 2 logo. As just a little nod to that. That's just my opinion, but anyway, it was a good direct. And they showed like a couple of games and like quite a bit of games for like their starting kind of their launch starting library of games. Yeah.
They learn about some of their mistakes from the past Nintendo console. Some of them. More.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
More
Yeah,
on
sure.
the next part.
Yeah, more on the next part, but they did show like quite a bit of games and like there was like that Donkey Kong Bonanza that was looking good. That looked good. Mario 8 World and a freaking Kirby Air Ride coming back. A new Kirby Air Ride game.
Oh my god, I miss Kirby.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely some positives for the Switch too. Yeah.
One thing I had is I'm kind of disappointed when I saw the GameCube games being added to the Switch Online. I expected that the first game who was going to be announced was Super Smash Bros. Melee, and there's no Melee in the games.
The Smash community, I know they will love that, but I know the Smash community have historically have a lot of controversial role-playing game.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I forgot his name, but I remember the Smash player. I forgot his name.
Well, there are
Yes, you can
multiple ones.
There's multiple, there's tons, which is, yeah, that kind of proves
like
there.
even with the starting GameCube list, it's still pretty impressive. I mean, we're getting like both Pokemon GameCube games, Colosseum and XD Gales of Darkness.
That's good.
We're getting
Yeah.
the very
Colosseum.
rare Fire Emblem game on that GameCube, the Path of Radiance. Is that right?
I think it was one of them, yeah.
Was it announced, Path of Radiance?
I think Sunshine was one of them, and like they're gonna add more down the list, but from what I remember of like some like the lineup they showed up at the GameCube stuff, yeah, like
Because imagine
It was-
Path of Radiance, to find the game nowadays, it's really hard because it's expensive.
Yeah.
So if they add this to the Nintendo Switch Online, it will be a really good thing.
It's be very good. It could be.
yeah, is that good?
It could be a practical way to play that game legally.
yeah.
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 Yeah. But yeah, I got nothing else to really add of like the kind of like the positive stuff
Okay.
of this, so I guess we'll move on.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'll add one
okay.
thing.
Okay.
There are some fighting games at the release of the Switch 2,
Soul Calibur.
like Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, Street Fighter
some-
6
yeah, Soul
with
Calibur
Elena.
too.
Yes,
Soul
yes,
Calibur,
yes.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I will admit that kind of got my interest for sure. The Soul Calibur one, I was like, oh, that's actually, that's
The
That's
GameCube
pretty
version with Link. Yes, yeah. That
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
quite interesting.
It's the second one, but yeah, that's a big one.
But I remember.
The first GameCube they actually showed like the first like gameplay they showed of like one of the first games they showed off for like the list of GameCubes. It was
Yeah.
Soul Calibur 2.
Yes. I remember the GameCube version have Link, which was exclusive, and then the Xbox version was Spawn, I think, and the PlayStation version
PlayStation was Hayachi.
was Heihachi.
Tekken.
From
Yeah.
Tekken, yeah.
Yeah, but now because a fighting game is getting more, is getting more like an esport. I think fighting game company will not do exclusive character per consoles anymore because, for example, if a PlayStation player, for example, if a PlayStation Soul Calibur player go on a tournament of a GameCube player and then he fight Link, he have no knowledge to how to fight Link, and then he will lose. It will be unfair. So because of situation like
It's
that,
like there's like in Evo, where when there was a Soul Calibur 5 tournament, Master Yoda and Darth Vader were both banned to prevent
I
this
heard that,
problem.
oh yes, that's right. Yes,
Yeah,
I
I
forgot
remember
about that. Yes, because I
Yes,
think
I'm hearing about that
Darth
too.
Vader was on PlayStation exclusive and Master Yoda Xbox exclusive or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that happening at an Evo tournament. I remember seeing that somewhere.
Okay, is everyone ready to go to the next topic?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
So-
Yep.
okay, so I'm going to start. Where to start? Okay, okay. So, the thing I didn't like is that they were not honest because the presentation were good, but all this time I had the back of my mind, oh, they're not talking about the price of the game or the price of the console, and then I found it very, very suspicious because on the first Switch, they talk about the price of the console like very early on from my memory. I must misremember, but I know it was either in a presentation, and then I remember back when Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, or they did their own presentation, they also talk about the price. But Nintendo Switch 2, they do not talk about the price, and then they talk about the price on the internet, and then it's expensive. And for me, I said Nintendo was not honest because I think they knew that people would not be happy about the price, and they didn't talk about that in the presentation. At the very least, if they talk about the presentation, people will be more forgiving, but they try to hide the information. For me, that is not honest. That is a bad move.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, because for me, about the price of the Nintendo Switch 2, I don't know if you can see, it's as
Yeah.
expensive as the PS5.
Yeah, in the background, is
Yeah,
that Canadian?
which
Is that Canadian or US dollars?
Yes, this is
Canada
Canadian
prices.
dollars.
Canadian, yeah.
Because everything in Canada, right now, in Canadian dollars, okay, I'm going to share my screen. If I don't mess up,
Yeah, I mean,
share my screen.
You almost had it.
Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, this is the Canadian dollar, $650 for the PS4, and then now I have to how to stop sharing the screen.
The button underneath. Yeah, you should be able to stop it there.
No, I made.
Okay, well, it took forever on my end to show up you doing that. Jeez.
Oh, okay. Now I don't see anything on Discord anymore. Oh, okay. Now I'm back. So for the part of the Nintendo Switch 2, it's as expensive as the PS5, but it's not as powerful as the PS5. And then I know some people they say as an argument that the Steam Deck is as capable as the PS5, but Nintendo is greedy because I know in terms of the price of the game, the Japanese version is the equivalent of $300, but the American version of the Switch 2 is $450, and then the Japanese version of the Switch 2, which is less expensive, is region lock, so that you cannot play imported. I said, "Whoa, Nintendo, that's a bad move. Nintendo is being a jerk." I said, "What are they thinking?"
Yeah, because they knew people were
knew.
going to import their Switch 2 from Japan, so they prevented this by using this method.
This is honest. And then for the first time, I said, even Xbox and PlayStation is more honest than Nintendo. I never thought I would be saying that, but Xbox and PlayStation seem like a good guy compared to what they are doing. And then for the game in Canadian dollar, a Nintendo Switch 2 game will be $110. So
Yeah,
plus tax, $120. Yeah, in Canada.
Forgive my language here, but that's fucking ridiculous. That is completely ridiculous.
I said,
I'll go off in a tangent in a minute, but like,
So it's like $80 per game, and in euros it's like
Euros.
90 euros.
90 physical, 80 for digital.
It depends
though,
on the
right?
game,
yeah.
but
physical and digital. I call that
Yeah.
being greedy. And and this is a bit off topic, because this remind me for me to do something, they only have one job. For example, for the new King of Fighter game, for the new Fatal Fury game, for the beta, they had one job: put a grappler. There was no grappler. I didn't play the beta, and then they did a second beta. They did a grappler. They didn't listen to me for that one job, and then Nintendo Switch 2 only had one job for me to buy Dead One. One job. A new 3D Mario game. That's all I'm asking. It's been like 7 years, and then I find it strange that it's not. I know there's a new 3D Donkey Kong game in Mario Kart, but I'm finding it strange that there was no 3D Mario game in the launch, or maybe not launch window. So I don't know what they are doing. So I found it strange.
They don't always release Mario games at the start of the console. I think Mario Odyssey was not the start of the Switch.
But
the Breath of the Wild was. Breath of the Wild was the launch game, I think, for Switch 1. Sorry, just to interject there.
But I know Mario Odyssey was within the first 6 months at least. But at least they made a presentation. Both in Nintendo 64, both on Nintendo GameCube, they made a presentation that Mario Sunshine will come. Mario Galaxy on Nintendo Wii, they made a presentation that it will come. And then Mario 3D World, at least the presentation. And then Mario Odyssey also, but here, not even a presentation. So I found it strange. And then there's also one last thing that I found negative is like I have a feeling that history is repeating itself. For example, back in the prehistoric era, the Atari 2600 had a huge success. It got arrogant with if with its next console. Atari 5200, it struggled, and then it had to make changes to become successful. And then the PlayStation 2 was a huge successful. PlayStation got to arrogant with the PlayStation 3 was very expensive and hard to program for, and again it struggled against its competition. Xbox 360 was very successful, and then it got arrogant and it struggled with the Xbox One because it made strange decisions because they thought they could do anything. The Nintendo Wii was very successful, and then Nintendo got arrogant with the Wii U, made a lot of bad decisions, and the Wii U struggled. And the Sega Genesis was very successful. Sega got arrogant and made a very expensive and hard to program console for the Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn struggle, and then
They released it on the same day.
Oh, and
as they-
Sega CD2.
Yeah, the CD, yeah.
yeah, and then I see a pattern that each time a video game company, their console is very successful, sometimes they get arrogant. The next generation struggle a bit because of their arrogance. It's like Nintendo might committing the same mistake, but this time is even worse. It's like they knew they're making a bad decision and they had to hide that price from us, and they thought no one would notice. So, and that move, Nintendo, is a bad move.
Maybe we should talk about the answer from this controversy about the price of the official response from Nintendo.
Oh
Because
yeah,
they talked about it.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Bowser. Mr. Bowser, of course. What a man. Yeah, I'll wait till Canada's done and then I'll ask
Oh, yeah.
you next.
oh yeah. For me, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay.
Saying, so someone
So-
else can talk.
I'll probably need a minute or two because this is going to be a bit. But I went into this direct going, yep, I'm going to buy a Switch on day one. I'll get into the ecosystem. I'll be there for launch day. I went away thinking I'm not buying it at all. Ridiculous. Why would anyone buy a Nintendo Switch 2 over a PlayStation 5 or a PC or even a Series X? Right? It's Patrick brought up a lot of good points there that I echo. Is that about the pricing of games, like 110 Canadian, €90 for a physical, and don't forget, by the way, the game key cards as well.
Oh yeah,
The
that
game
thing.
card
Yeah.
system. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Nintendo
yeah.
does have
There's
that
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
where you're not even getting there's a bit of misconceptions because some of the idea is that you can download the game onto the key card and then give the card to somebody else. Like I could download like a copy of like I don't know Breath of the Wild 2 and then give it to say Corback to play it. The whole thing is Nintendo with this have lost their identity completely because Nintendo has always been the family-friendly company, and Reggie himself said this, that they're not about graphics, they're not about performance, they're about the games. Now, personally, the exclusives don't really interest me in that much. Some of them do, like I like Legend of Zelda, that's probably what I would go for. But this company has completely lost its way. The average family in America and in Europe probably are not going to be able to afford that. Because the whole thing with Nintendo has been, it's an affordable console.
Historically,
It's a
they've
lower
always been like
price.
that. Yes.
Yeah, and it just, like, the thing is, as a consumer, you'd look at that and go, okay, well, I could get a PS5 for $500, or I could buy a Nintendo Switch for $350, right? You trade it. You get less power, but a cheaper console with less power, right? That incentive is now gone. They can't compete with PlayStation. They can't compete with Xbox, and they sure as hell can't compete with PC.
No way.
No way. And by the way, guys, jump in if you want as well. Nintendo has been anti-consumer for ages now. They have been going after content creators. They recently went after a VTuber who played like some cracked version or some version of a Pokemon game where some Pokemon was involved. A DMC.
It was like a hacked modded version of Pokemon.
Was it? Oh, okay. Oh, that was
Yeah.
it. Yeah, because and she got like they striked her for that for some reason. I don't want to support this company going forward until they change their ways. I think they've priced longtime fans out of it. They've priced newcomers out of it, and they've also set a very bad precedent because everyone in the gaming community sat here and said it's going to be Grand Theft Auto 6. That's going to push it to $100. We were completely wrong. It was Nintendo that did it first.
Yeah.
Nintendo have the gall to ask for 80.
in a plot twist no one ever saw coming. Nintendo decided to place down put pretty much a price increase of like the games with usually like the 60, maybe 70 kind of the standard. Now, like
Yeah, not even Sony nor Microsoft did it.
Nope.
Basically, this basically kind of changes so much with like the industry. Kind of shows like a new standard, and not a good way.
Yeah. Nope, and it's going to price everyone out, and we've the family-friendly Nintendo to thank for that. And then I'll make one last point, and then I'll pass it on. And for that, I can't think of his full name, but Bowser, the representative for Nintendo America.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ironic.
He's I mean, it's just corporate greed. Like Nintendo are greedy. Like, I'm not going to say it on this podcast, but maybe look at other ways of playing your games with Nintendo. If you know what I'm referencing, you know what I'm referencing. I would never advocate for things like that. But with the way they're going, we're looking at Wii U 2. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The equivalent of one, yeah.
Yeah. They awful. Just so blind and so deaf to what makes Nintendo. Can legitimate question? Could anyone here in good faith, if I said to you, pick one system, so pick Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, is there anyone in this panel that would pick Nintendo over any of the brands I just? Okay.
No.
There you go.
It would be either PlayStation or PC. Either one of these two for me.
Yeah, like
So-
like especially considering y'all say that they're exclusive for the type of exclusive games that would come to it are things even I don't think I would play get it for to play over it. Then yeah, no, I wouldn't either.
But even that, like, if you're a new Nintendo like consumer and you want to try the new Donkey Kong and you want to try the new Mario, you can't. There's no way in hell that you can justify that and say I'm paying $80 or $90. Imagine some kid for Christmas wants the new Mario Kart, which is exactly what they're doing. The average family is not going to afford that.
You know the saddest thing about that? Nintendo can actually get away with it with like Mario Kart
Of
because
course they can.
Mario Kart is so huge.
Yeah.
They can actually get away with kind of increasing the price with it.
It's like Pokemon. Same for Pokemon.
Yeah.
Especially considering how popular the Super Nintendo version was, because like I remember I played a lot of the Super Nintendo version of Mario Kart. I grew up playing so much of that, it's not even funny. Like I don't care if I was playing by myself. I was playing that so much as a kid.
So I'll say this and then I'll pass it on along officially. Sorry for taking up so much time, but my stance is I am not supporting Nintendo going forward until they either lower the price of the console itself to like $400. It's not, well, really, the price of the console is arguable. You could say, look, there's 1080p, there's or 4K, there's higher resolution, all this stuff, and there's
I agree with
portability.
you on that. Yeah.
Lower the game.
The console price to me. Sorry to take over this shadow a little bit.
Go for it. I'm finished anyway, so go for it. I'm actually finished.
But the price on the console, I mean, it wasn't like that big of a. It shouldn't be that big of a surprise. I mean, usually when like a new console comes out, usually the price is increased like a little higher and all that. That's like no big surprise. Yeah, $150 more to what, like $100 more, $150 from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2. I mean, like $450. That's kind of a price increase. But then you also have the game that came with it, with Mario Kart World, which adds $50 more, and that's $500 right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like ever since the release of the Switch, kind of ever since they showed the Switch 2 from that direct, the past 10 days, Nintendo has been the most not un-Nintendo they have ever been
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely
Like-
anti-consumer. Completely anti-consumer. Don't
Yeah, I
care.
grew up playing a lot of the
consumer.
Super Nintendo version
But
stuff.
again, when you had like played with Nintendo consoles for so long, and then like when like the Switch 2 comes out, like the new console comes out, and it's like basically like some of the games will be now $80. Like what? Like,
Yeah,
like
that's-
it's already a pain to get a game for like 60, even 70.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, just with the price increase to 80, like that's just not
That's
right.
ridiculous.
I mean, with GTA 6, I mean, with GTA 6, the only argument about GTA 6 going to be a triple digit game, I mean, it's GTA 6. It's Grand Theft Auto, GTA. It's a kind of a big name since like GTA 4 and GTA 5. I never played GTA games, but I mean, it's kind of a big deal.
Me either. Me either. I'm like the only person on the planet who don't like to play GTA. I know I will get crucified by it, but I'm
Casually, I
really
play
like
it.
that.
Well, actually, Canada, you're not the only one in that. No, I may have played some in the past because I had a friend or two that convinced me to play it with them. But trying to play the GTA series as a whole, you're not the only one.
Oh, okay.
I can feel it for it. It is not that big of a deal of a series to me. I don't see how it's so popular. I don't think it's all that big either.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but to me, GTA is not that big of a game to me either. I'm the same. I don't see it as a big game either.
Yeah, but anyway, the first red flag that I noticed that something was not right was that little game that kind of showcase of like what the Switch 2 can
Oh
do.
yeah. The Wii Sport of Nintendo Switch 2. Yes, that.
Yeah.
That little,
Oh, don't forget,
that
guys, we have to
built-
pay. We have to
built-in
pay for the game.
Switch 2. Basically, it's not going to be built into the system, and 2, it's a paid game.
Pay to understand how to use your Switch 2. Give us $10
They're
or
making you-
€10.
Hold on, they're putting a price on basically a tutorial fucking thing for it. Pardon my French, but are you what?
They sure
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
They sure are.
Yes.
I've got so much to say.
ridiculous.
Okay, see, y'all saying I'm the one who's the least knowledge of what's going on in here, but y'all are making me realize some stuff about it already. Y'all bringing up so much things that make
At
me
least
so
it's
much-
$10. It could have been 60.
Man, if they had their way, they would have charged us 80 if they had their way.
Yeah, oh yeah, 80. So sorry.
I'd be telling them to go gag on, bend over, and go. Ah.
But to put this in a context, kind of an example context, for the PlayStation 5, when you first get the console, it has a kind of a game already
Astro
Astro
Playroom.
Playroom.
Yes,
Astro
that's
Playroom.
right. Astro Playroom. It was free.
That's free, and you get like between 3 to 5 hours of basically kind of showing like how powerful the console is, and also even how like the PS5 controller would feel with like that little little gotcha little crane game thing, and kind of like feel like the
Yeah.
kind of like the restrictive like when you do the shoulder buttons. Well, mostly the L2 and R2, but yeah. Like that was a
that's
really
sort of like mini game that helps you get a feel for what it's like to use the daggone system.
Yeah.
as a
Yes.
whole.
That's a very
Yes.
good.
and with that Nintendo of kind of announcing of like that kind of like demonstration game of kind of like how like the Switch 2 do and like with like little mini games and all that, to not to not only like not put it in the game in the console as like a pre-installed game console, kind of show you what the console can do, and even like know what little secrets it has and whatnot. To make it paid. Like
That's just deaf and delusional. Like it just shows, yeah.
there are so many options for games in $10. I would pick then a small tech demo that would probably get like maybe 40 minutes out of it at best.
Yeah, because it probably would end up being short too of its little mini game tutorial because of it being from Nintendo, which they're not big about making those things be a very have fun, time consuming thing. Yeah, that's.
But like, why would you even buy it? It's completely pointless. Astra's
Oh
player
yeah, I had that.
was-
If you compare that to Wii Sports, we can see that Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour looks boring as hell compared to Wii Sports, for example. That was actually a really good game and was free.
Wii Sport was amazing. Wii Sport honestly is like one of the best games on the system, considering it was packaged in with the Wii. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but especially when you're trying to find what is kind of what was the Wii U's big thing supposedly was supposed to be meant as a big, more centered toward family indoor group playing games in a household. Yeah. Yeah.
And and like the it's like really does not make sense of why that game for like a little tech demo of like showing little secrets and even having like little mini games and whatnot of like a little golf one of like the Rumble Joy-Cons. Yeah, that was just that's a very bad move.
It does not make
I
sense.
did saw on like on one like headline of like the Joy-Cons, they're gonna have problems with like drift stick, I remember, or something like that.
Joy-Con drift, yeah. Joy-Con drift was huge.
On the
Yeah,
original
I never had a
Switch.
personally, but yeah,
Even
but
though
I,
that that when you kind of clamp the, I'm not 100% sure on this, if someone will jump in and kind of correct me a little bit, but like even with like the Joy-Cons, basically like the kind of where the magnets are when you like put the Joy-Cons to the screen, it's actually on the screen. That's where the magnets are. The Joy-Cons, they have like
okay.
metals,
Okay.
little, like two pieces of metals on it that's supposed to magnetize to it, which is on the
Oh, are you talking about the
the
clipping
VR
system? Are
buttons
you
on
talking
it.
about with the Joy-Cons where like they snap in as opposed to sliding down? Is that what you're
Yeah.
referencing?
Yeah.
That's gonna break, by the way. If you're the release button, because you press the release button and then you click them off, wear and tear, that they're not gonna last. What's gonna happen is they're gonna loosen up over time, just like the original Joy-Cons, because the sliding rails used to wear away as well. So first thing I saw when I looked at the system, I went, "That's not a good design."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what y'all are talking about in that regard. I don't know the system myself to know, but I think I understand what y'all are talking about on that regard, and I have to agree that does not sound. What is Nintendo thinking with their stuff? What the heck?
Yeah, it's
and
just,
then, and then like a couple days ago, through like one of like the interviews, I don't remember who said this, but they basically said something that kind of echoed back of what Xbox said of like when they like over like a decade ago when
Done metric. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yes.
oh, just buy a 360, guys. Just buy a Nintendo Switch One.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nintendo
I wanted to talk about
essentially
it.
said that like if you can't like it's something like if you can't afford a Switch 2, you can then
Just
just
buy
go
one.
get a
Just buy the Switch One.
Yeah, because that went well for Xbox, didn't it, guys?
Yeah. It was.
Yeah,
if you couldn't
it
afford
was
Xbox One,
that
but
that
buy
said
Xbox
that.
360.
But on
Something
Xbox,
like that.
it was basically because the Xbox One, it was it had to be like a always online thing. Like you had to always to use your
connected,
Xbox
yeah.
One, it had to be connected to the internet.
It's like the don't you just all have phones all over again?
Yeah, with the Switch
Which guys have
2,
phones?
this is actually a lot worse. This is a lot worse.
Yeah,
than
'cause I mean,
the
that's
console like a decade ago, because this is an entirely new console, and with the price and all that,
Yeah.
like that was a bad like statement to say. That was a bad comment to say that in one of like the interviews.
Yeah,
Since then.
because no one in their right typical mind, if they have to be online to even do anything on a system, they're likely not going to mess with it.
Like
That's just
like you play a
Yeah.
single player game,
Yeah.
for example.
like that's just. Why would you even suggest that to somebody?
Also, the console is region locked, so you will not be able to play some games, some exclusive games from.
Oh wait, is that
Other
confirmed?
Yeah, I
wait.
think so.
Oh no!
Oh,
So
God.
I don't know if it's true, but from the confusing information that I saw online, only the cheaper Japanese version is region locked, but
Only the Japanese version.
only the Japanese version, which is cheaper, is region
$100
locked.
cheaper in terms of US.
Exactly.
dollars. Yeah.
Exactly. So I said,
Because
Yeah,
it's
but
all
you
the
know
language,
the-
that's why.
The games that are exclusive to some countries will probably come from Japan. So
yeah,
the thing is,
we'll be able to play.
it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very bad.
Yeah,
And to
that's
kind of maybe like throw like one last thing in my end, and I'll pass it on to someone else. That whole like kind of like that video share thing on that
Oh yeah.
on that like kind of go like I don't know what you call like demonstration or like a little ad or clipping or whatever.
Demo for it, yeah.
Oh boy! Like, I don't know if you all noticed
2
if you
FPS.
watched the direct.
Yeah, really low
Was it the-
FPS.
Like a beta
Really low
version of it,
FPS, like little
Holy
pixels.
crap! Is it freaky?
Yeah, it was bad. It was the
Oh, yeah.
lag.
So
Yeah.
freaky.
With the shitty green screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, guys, Discord exists.
It's kind of similar to the green screen from Hardman right now.
Whoa,
Yeah.
No, we got
Yeah.
$50 for an online membership to use that. But yeah, that whole like video thing, like while it's nice, holy crap, that video share looked at it so framey.
That looked awful. That looked absolute crap.
I might have to look at that.
Like, I don't know if they were like a beta,
Yeah.
like a beta version of it from when they were doing that.
You better hope it's a beta.
That looked so bad.
Yeah.
What would
Yeah,
be
I
cool
think
is
like, oh my
that
God.
if they had
paid service.
if the players could have used their own webcams to use the system, so
Oh,
that
yeah.
there won't be
Yeah,
that much problem.
Separate. They have their own camera and it's separate.
Yeah, and you have to pay for it. Too.
Yeah,
So
the
it's
pay-
ev-
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
No,
you
Nintendo is
can
going to
always
be
get
a
yourself a
Nintendo
Chronicle
only
camera.
webcam. No Nintendo. It's going to be a proprietary thing. No Nintendo. It's just like
You'll
Apple.
have to play.
product.
You'll have to buy a separate shitty webcam just to use the system.
I might have to.
Oh,
y'all
Uh,
y'all actually make me want to find this shit out now, just because this stuff I'm hearing is like, what the? Oh my god, it's making me want
It's
to.
all true. It's all true, and I mean
Oh,
everything
God.
we've said, everything everything Canada has said, everything Doom has said, everything I've said, it's all true.
I know, I
Holy
believe y'all, but it's making me want to look at it, look, turn on my daggone PlayStation, look on YouTube for this stuff, and just be like, this can't be real. What are y'all doing, Nintendo? What the freak? Oh my
Go watch like a YouTuber called Young Yeah.
Oh yeah, he covers it.
He's kind of he's like giving like some various coverage of this, of the Nintendo Switch and all this going on. So if you want like a bit of like a catch up version
I
of
might
it,
have
like go watch Young Yeah.
podcast, like, what the heck? What Nintendo? What is? Oh yeah.
Like I said, like ever since they show they did the direct for the Switch 2, they have been the most un-Nintendo Nintendo has ever been.
Controversial thing going right. Yeah, I can understand why. Like, because I'm gonna willingly be the last one to go because I'm the least one who knows what's going on compared to y'all. But even what I'm hearing is giving me so much to say about negative wise from it that it's like, oh God, I have a lot to say already. Oh God.
By the way, about the expensive price of the Nintendo Switch 2 games, I heard argument that in the 90s, video games like the Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, all the cartridge disappearing, all the cartridge-based games disappeared again. Okay, I think you can partially see all the cartridge-based games used to be like in Canadian dollar, like 90 Canadian dollars. But yes, video game back then were expensive because first of all, they were made of physical cartridge which had all the wiring inside, which makes it more expensive than a CD. A CD is like 10 cents. A cartridge is like $20 to produce. So back then, it was logical that video games were more expensive. But there's one thing that we used back then. All video game back in the 90s, after 1 year or two, they had a price cut of 50% or 40%. So all the new games were like full price, but after like 1 year or two, they all had a price cut.
Yeah.
Let's say Fatal Fury 2 for the Genesis, when it was new was like $19. 1 year later it was like $45, which is more affordable and you can buy it. But this with Nintendo games is that in 20 years, Nintendo, to my knowledge, they never do a price cut. It's still full price for an old game. So that's why
you want to buy a Pokemon from the 6th generation or something, it's like 40 or 50 euros.
Yeah, it's still full price. So for me, I would be more forgiving if Nintendo was like Sony and Microsoft, because Sony and Microsoft after like 1 year or two, the first party game have a price cut. Even Steam have a price cut and Steam sales. But Nintendo, if they have a price cut, it would be there's a price cut of like 1%, something like that. It's like
$10, €10 if you're lucky.
Wow, it's like that's not a real price cut, and that's why for the first party Nintendo game, I only buy like games that I know I will really like for example, Pokemon game that I really like Pokemon game, and a few Mario games.
Still,
yeah. And then it's for this reason that even to this day I haven't bought Zelda Breath of the Wild because it's still full price. And then for still the game I haven't bought the new Kirby game, but it's still full price. Also, all the first part of the games, out of the game that I didn't bought or I never played for my life because it's still full price.
Yeah. And a really funny thing, Canada.
Yeah.
You mentioning of like the old back in like the 80s and 90s of like cartridges. Back in those days, and even now, you can basically like put in the cartridge in, and you can just start playing right there and then.
Yes. No update.
No updates.
Full game
with Nintendo on the Switch 2, still on cartridges. You had to go through a loading process.
Yeah.
How have we gone backwards with that?
Yeah,
Not only have we gone back with cartridges, they did used to do discs with the GameCube and stop with the Wii U. But we've gone back to cartridges, and we have to go through a loading process in cartridges.
Yeah, that's
how
we've gone complete backwards with this whole thing. Not even just that, the whole thing has gone backwards.
Yeah.
The whole thing is.
Yeah, I would like to talk about Doug Bowser's answer about how they chose the price for Mario Kart, especially, or most games. He said that the price was made based on the experience of the game and what how much content there was in a game. So what that means is that if a game has a lot of contents, it could be even more pricey. We talked about GTA 6, and yeah, if you consider that GTA 6 will be probably way more, will have probably way more content than Mario Kart, they could put their price at like $150 or maybe $200. We don't know. So the price could be really.
Let's
No,
not
but
go
I
too
get
far
what
with 200.
Yeah, no, but I get what he was
200, 250.
saying. Like, you could see them doing that though. Like, if it's that game, yeah, it's kind of foreseeable. Would make sense they making it pricey because of what it is compared to like a smaller condensed content game, but it's like still the price is just why.
Yeah, and also a really important thing is that he said that the prices will change depending of the companies, etc. Like they chose the price. The thing is, the companies will never put their prices below, for example, the price of Mario Kart, because this would make them feel like their game are bad, like they are cheap. So they will put the price the same as Mario Kart, at least the same price as Mario Kart. So if Nintendo do not change the price of their games, this means that we are doomed for pretty much all the console.
Yeah. They won't budge on it either.
And this could also change the prices for the other consoles as well. So this could be the end of the video games as we know right now.
A second video game crash.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna say it's gonna happen. Yep. There's gonna, and honestly, it probably needs to happen because, I mean, developers and publishers have just gotten way out of hand. Like, it's just.
Well, I mean,
it's
I wouldn't
ridiculous.
say that needs to happen now necessarily, but it's just I agree they're shooting themselves in the foot for doing it, and it's not it sets possible mindset precedents for companies to do things they know they shouldn't, and is dumb. But
Yeah.
let's hope it doesn't come to that.
And also, there's another thing. In the US, we are not even sure this will be $80 for games because of Donald Trump's actions, recent actions. This could actually be even more expensive, like maybe $110 per games.
Yeah, which says no one who lives in the U.S. I mean, I can keep you posted on that and let you know how that turns out. But yeah, I foresee that unfortunately being a thing too, because there's definitely games here sometimes. I'm noticing, like, even if I wanted to get a digital version of one, a lot of the games again where they're constantly no lower than 40, no matter what it is, to where it's just like it's getting near expensive and impossible to get any game now. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're literally being priced out. That's what's happening. It's going to get to a point no one can afford anything. Like, why do you think the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 is still supported? Because the player bases are too big because people can't afford it.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing with Switch 2. Yeah, it's cheaper. It's going to be the same thing with Switch 2. People aren't going to bother. They're just going to go, well, I'll stick to my original Switch then. Or I'll go back to
that comment really haunts that whole situation.
Yeah, it does. It's not.
Yeah.
Do you know he's a former representative of EA or a former manager of EA, by the way?
Oh,
You know he
that
was
explains
involved-
that explains everything.
There you go. There you
That
go.
Oh,
explains
great.
everything.
Yeah, that explains a lot. Oh,
There you go. There's your answer right there.
Oh yeah, also, I don't know if you have seen it, but there are a lot of remakes in the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah.
And
versions, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that there's remakes. I have no problems with that. But if you look at the price, it's $80 per remakes for games that are like 10 years old, and they were at $60 back then.
Yeah.
So you pay for the same game that is 10 years old, and you pay $20 more dollars for this.
Yeah, that is true.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, I mean, that's just like
Greedy.
doing that, but I mean, like, at least their prices are reasonable with their remakes. Nintendo doesn't look like they're even doing that and being reasonable with it. Like, I mean, good God.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. For the Switch 2 version, upgrade for the original Switch 1. I don't know if it's true,
yeah.
but I heard that you need to pay money to
You do.
have
It's
to
true.
have for the 4K. I don't know how much money, but knowing Nintendo is going to
It's
The
around
estimated
$20 I think.
be US, so in Canada $30. Woo!
Yeah, the whole like,
Can you
Switch 2
imagine?
with some games like Super Mario Party Jamboree, Switch 2
Breath of the
edition,
Wild.
Kirby's
Kingdom.
Forgotten Land, Switch 2 edition, and
Wow. So
Zelda.
can you imagine you buy a new graphic card for your PC, and then you need to pay Steam for $20 to use the graphic card that you bought. That's how I see it. That's unreasonable.
It's you're literally paying for them to unlock a feature in the Switch.
Yeah.
For Switch 2,
That's
yeah.
all it is. Yeah, for Switch 2. That's all you're doing.
They do that a lot, I think, with the Switch 2.
And it's actually
With
worse
the
on the-
Nintendo Switch 2 World Tour for the Nintendo Switch Online and the
chat
camera
system.
paying something
Yeah.
else.
And,
Your C
and
button's
it's
gonna
actually
become a
worse with,
paywall.
Legend of Zelda. Sorry to interrupt, but this is actually worse with like Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom because all they're getting in their like Switch 2 editions is just a graphics improvement.
And a frame
And
rate
other
boost,
than like
apparently.
a app support from like your phone, other than that, that's it. And yet it's $20.
So a bunch of
Yeah.
nothing, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, really nothing.
$20, a
No-
bunch of nothing.
No added features whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
At least Super Mario Party Jamboree added a feature. Adds a feature. Kirby added like a new mode or something like that. But Zelda, all I got is just a graphics improvement and all that. That's it.
And they're expecting you to pay more. They're asking money for that. Like, other devices, mind you, to even implement the daggone
Ah.
things. Like, that's
Yeah.
just.
yeah. And you know what's funny? PlayStation gives a majority of their upgrades for free.
Yeah.
So
Nintendo is Nintendo. I never thought that I never thought that I would ever say that, but Nintendo is making the PlayStation and the Xbox like the good guy. I never thought I would
Yeah.
say that in my life.
Yeah, pretty much are. They pretty much are.
Oh yeah.
we'll see, I guess.
And then there's one more thing that I forgot to say. There's so much information that I forget to say some details. You know, Reggie Fils-aimé, I read somewhere that he begged Nintendo Wii U and the Nintendo Wii to be as much consumer friendly as possible, and it's for that reason that that at least when he was around, Nintendo consoles were cheaper than their competition to be more affordable for the family. And if for that, if for Reggie Fils-aimé that the Nintendo Wii Sport was a pack in game for the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, but
Okay.
Now that Reggie Fils-aimé is gone, I can see the effect that because Reggie Fils-aimé.
There's some consequences of Reggie Fils-aimé leaving Nintendo.
Yeah, because Reggie Fils-aimé, he was a business guy, but he was a business guy who was pro-consumer. But the other one, he's a business guy who think more to make the business happy and not the consumer happy, and then we can see the change of things. So this
Reggie
is
was business
my
was
issue.
customer first, and Bowser is company first. So
Exactly.
It's the opposite. He's the polar opposite. You.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like some of like even with I feel like any companies went through that though. I mean you get that one person in the company, Sony, Xboxes, companies like any of them, you get that one good person that made the reasonable decisions of why they had anything good about them to begin with. But the moment they leave, look what the rest of the daggone people in the company do. It's like the one good apple had to leave. And look what happens. The entire company completely screws up their daggone image. It's like, man, jeez.
Same as
He said the
Blizzard.
Yeah, he said in a recent interview too that he doesn't recognize Nintendo anymore. Like Reggie actually put that out. He said that in an interview that he doesn't recognize.
I
Nintendo
don't
as a
blame him.
company,
I mean,
so-
I don't either. Yeah, I mean, I'll get more into it when it's my turn, but it's like, I completely understand where he's coming from too, because as a person who grew up playing Super Nintendo games and got to know Nintendo from my kid days, playing the actual first genre systems and playing the Super Nintendo and everything from the first gen stuff. I know Nintendo from back in the day because of that. To see it go where it's going now, even I'm just Nintendo. What the heck? Like, but Corbett, you finish. I'll say my, like I said, I'll do my spiel last, as condensed as I can. But yeah, I don't recognize them anymore either. I completely agree with the sentiment. I don't either. Not one bit.
Yeah.
Listen. Ah. But Corbett, getting finished. I'm pretty sure you have more to say.
Yeah, so I have noted a lot of things from my side. We talked about some of them, so I will skip them. But yeah, in the presentation we saw the mouse system with the Joy-Con.
Oh yeah, the mouse system.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was unimpressive because in the presentation the mouse was kind of lagging. Like it didn't felt like a real mouse.
I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice
Yeah,
that either.
I did notice that. And yeah, I think it will be similar to the remote, in terms of movement. Like it won't be perfect. So yeah, the mouse, I don't think we will have to count on that to be good.
I think
Sorry
to jump in on this, Corbett, but I think I think the mouse thing is like an interesting idea for like some things and all that. But I think like how you hold the mouse, like I don't know, that's gonna feel weird. Like a very skinny mouse like that. That's gonna be weird, and I don't know how that's gonna feel when you're gonna use that.
You
Yeah, I
might
don't
also
think
scratch
a
the
lot of
damage as
people
well.
are going to like that.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. I wouldn't use it personally. I'd skip it. It's me.
So yeah, I have heard about an information. Did you know that the Nintendo Switch 2 is produced in Vietnam?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I heard about that. It was to get
Japan
around the
and
tariffs.
Taiwan.
Oh, it's produced in Taiwan or something. That, you know, I can see that. I can kind of see and believe that, to be honest.
I think they
It's also
try
the same
to
with Xbox and PlayStation. They're all formed in they're all like made the consoles are made in like Japan and Taiwan.
I think
Yeah,
they try to cut cost production. So
Yeah.
If they want to charge more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, Nintendo they actually halted pre-orders for like pre-ordering the systems. They actually halted
That's
pre-orders.
very strange.
Yeah, they actually stopped pre-order for here in the US. I think on the same day they announced it, or it was like a couple days later.
Yeah,
And
it was
in
about
Canada,
3 days.
they actually stopped pre-orders on the 8th of April. Or no, the 9th.
That's
Yeah, they actually stopped them like you can like
That was due
pre-order
to the tariffs.
systems. Yeah, that's probably like one, it's like one suspect that the
Oh.
tariff stuff and all that.
For the tariff. So I don't fully understand. What is
Customs and import charges.
import
So,
clauses?
The
Oh,
tax
okay.
and customs, yeah, they basically, because of the stupid bloody tariffs, they had to reevaluate how much customs and VAT was going to be on it, basically. Which the rumor around that, sorry for butting in there, was that it was actually going to make the system even more expensive. But then it came out that no, the tariffs weren't the reason for the price increase. People assumed the tariffs was the reason for the price increase, but it really wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Mhm.
I said 380 originally. That's the price I said. I said 380. I assumed about near 400, but I didn't expect 450.
I
I was
expecting.
expecting 400.
Yeah. And I think it's safe to
Yeah.
say that everyone was, even though the Switch 2 was gonna have like a higher price than the Switch 1, it was going to be like sitting around like 400. Like around 400. 380, 400.
That's what the
Yeah.
majority expected, yeah, like, because that
Yeah.
really does make way more reasonable sense, but no, it's 450 or above.
So
Yeah, no.
so
Really, the
in
same
any-
price as a regular PlayStation 5.
you can all see the quick meme I did. I did
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
I see the meme.
And we see it.
Yeah.
I see the meme.
Yeah. It's very true.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about something really important.
What
Is
is it?
that some games, not every games, but some games will have a game sharing system.
The game share, yeah.
So
yeah.
that you can play
That's good.
you can play a game with only one copy of the game with multiple Switch. And
Yeah, being talked about this a little bit
it
tonight
is
about-
a good thing in theory. But yeah, if you want to play the game with your friends will have to download the full game for every consoles that you will have to play. So it's like you'll have to download the game for maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe 1 hour, depending of your connection. And
The whole the whole
And you get
game
14 days as well, I
thing.
think, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, the person borrowing gets like 14 days is what I think, as far as I remember.
there's that. And also, it's not something really new because in the past they had similar things. For example, for the Nintendo DS, they had this option for some games, and also the Game Boy Advance with the link cable.
Yeah.
some games.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For example, in the past, I played Advance Wars with the link cable to play on 2 Game Boy Advance with just 1 copy of the game.
Advanced system. You play Advanced War on the Advanced Future. Aha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know the device parts for it. I never had one myself to experiment with, but I know what you're talking about and I've heard of them.
Yeah. Also, we talked sooner about the game key cards. I think the idea of game key cards is really shit because
Yeah,
it's
crap.
similar to Steam Key. You expect
Oh,
a game to be a physical copy, so to have the game inside, but instead it's just a Steam Key that you put on your Switch 2 to have the game.
Oh.
It's just a code, basically. It's
Yeah.
just a code, yeah. Yeah, it's a bunch of nothing, really. Just
Pretty
annoying.
much.
And this might, I think they did that to prevent as much as possible the cracking of their games and consoles.
Yeah. but
Because
they'll
if
crack
you
that
don't have the
constantly.
game, if you don't have the game on the cartridge, you can't really hack the cartridge. You have to hack the console, and I think
Yeah.
they try to prevent that as much as possible.
Maybe for this.
But this is shit for the consumer because if someday the
In 10
Nintendo,
years?
in 20 years the system
yeah.
doesn't work anymore, you wouldn't be able to play the game just by having the cartridge, like Hardman, for example, with his Genesis games
Yeah.
we saw earlier.
Or for example, back then there was a Mega Man game exclusive to the Sega Genesis. It had a physical copy around the world, but in North America, to promote the online service, it was digital download only on the Sega Genesis. It's Mega Man Dr. Willy Wong. And then now it's not we cannot play that game because it was digital only in the service down. So what fan did, they did a physical copy of the Mega Man Willy's Wall to be able to play him. I have that copy. And then there's a game on the Sega Genesis, many digital only game on the Sega Genesis that was less popular. There is just a Lost Mania. It's now impossible to play. I think there was a Flintstone game or something, but that game didn't interest me. But I think for that one Flintstone fan in the world, he must be sad that he will never be able to play this game ever again. It's Lost Mania. So I think about things like that.
Yeah.
And I'll add one more thing, is that for years now, Nintendo release games that are technically unimpressive. They say that they are focusing on they are focusing on games before the technology, but I think they are doing the strict bare minimum for their games. If we look at Pokemon Scarlet Violet, for example, you know what I'm talking about, and I think that with the Switch 2 they might do the same. Maybe not for every game. Like for example, they are. I think they probably put a lot of effort for Mario Kart.
Okay.
But I feel like it's still not that much impressive compared to what Sony or Microsoft does from their side.
Can I add something? I forgot to say that, but for the Pokemon game, I think it's Pokemon Legend ZA, I saw the graphic, and objectively, it is a Nintendo 64 game upscaled in HD. That's how I see the graphic.
Wow.
And then
I can see that,
I'm
though.
saying that as a
I can see
Pokemon
that.
fan.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about this. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the comparison between Pokemon X and Y and ZA. The XY had more details, windows for the buildings. Like the house has had like window
resolution?
thing. Not necessarily resolution, but details on the buildings.
Oh, yeah, details.
Details. Meanwhile, in ZA, the buildings have literally no details. They have
nothing. The
they have
environments are
better
bland,
textures. They have better texture for sure, but there's no details at all. That's just a PNG as building. We don't really see this if we don't take too much attention about it. But if you look at it, you can see that it's lacking detail. And they did that to prevent the game to run at 20 FPS.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
Oh, there's one thing positive about the Switch 2 that I completely forgot to say. I don't know if it's true, but apparently they overproduced the Nintendo Switch 2 to combat scalpers because they are annoying.
Apparently, but then
No, there's already
scalpers
scalpers on it already.
Oh, is there?
I think.
Oh,
Yeah, like
Ah.
they've already like increased the price to like 800 or something like that.
it's not even.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Okay, don't forget what I said. I speak truth.
I understand about the
Scalpers will always be
about the
here.
whole, scalping, but
Yeah,
I think there's
I'm
been like some scalping. So
Yeah, when it comes
it's
to
too.
people trying to scalp and like basically underground, I guess you could say, try to like or getting the systems for free or really cheap, but then pricing it up high heck and reselling it at their own vendettas and shit. Yeah, that scalpers, things like that. Yeah, that's not gonna go away because people are too greedy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, imagine that they increased the price of their consoles to prevent scalpers, but then the scalpers buy them anyway to have even more money than if the console was actually cheaper.
Yeah, like I mean, that, unfortunately, their idea is not even stopping them. It's just giving them more incentive to say, okay, well, we'll just jack our prices up even more when we do scalp them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It
that
just
doesn't
gives
stop
them
them
more
from doing it. That
incentive,
just
yeah.
gave them more reason to say, okay, we'll just make it even more expensive when we scalp it. We're too greedy. We don't care. Yeah, good job, Nintendo. Good job with your ideas of trying to stop them. Yeah, that worked.
Similar to the Pokemon TCG. They are doing
yeah.
anything to prevent scalpers.
Any company needs to. I mean, it
Anyway.
kind of was PS5 at one point.
I talked about anything from my side.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay, so I guess now I really am the last one to go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'll
that's
try to. So I'm not a normal person if I've done other things, and y'all have had to let me know. Just so I know, for us personally, I can talk too much. So okay, I try to put everything in perspective as condensely as I can. One of the things I'll talk about, for one, just to get some obvious ones already out the way, the prices. Yeah, as a person who grew up playing Super Nintendo games as a way to get to know Nintendo company as a whole as a kid, because I was born in the 90s, late 90s, but still the 90s when that was a thing, and grew up playing that and know Nintendo from that era. Yeah, no, I agree with dude. I don't feel like I know them as the same company anymore. I feel that they've completely gotten off-road as what they were as a company starting out. They're by no means the same people anymore, and just that this whole pricing thing they're doing with things, I don't care where it's at, even if it happens here in the US. Like, I can understand their games if they wanted to put some of them at 40 or 50, depending on the game in question. But if you're going to try to stick to what they were as a whole starting out, yeah, asking for 60 and above for their games, considering what they are, yeah, you're getting too greedy, people. You need to go back to your roots. You're getting way out of hand. Now you're just getting ridiculous with this. Like,
Yeah, I think Nintendo is delusional for right now.
completely,
like-
they're off base completely, 100%.
yeah, like, I mean, no one's going to, because, like, I haven't watched the videos, but I've said it to some of y'all already, so just for the sake of this podcast, too. I'm a person who's the one who's least informed about this stuff right now, but I mean, I went on YouTube one night and even just didn't bother to watch it, but I saw the clickbait. I could tell just from the clickbait video and title alone that what Nintendo was doing with the prices, and kind of got an idea just from the clip alone, just from the clickbait screen. I saw that, and my immediate thoughts were, excuse me, Nintendo, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh God, what did they do now? That was my initial thought when I saw that. So I already knew it was like, oh God, Nintendo's screwing up. Oh no, you're crossing lines.
No, this isn't even a screw up. This is kind of some
You're crossing lines.
mess.
That's why I said it like
Yeah.
that. Like, you're crossing lines. Like, no one's going to pay those kind of prices. You're out of your bloody mind. Jeez, not for a game. Consoles I can understand, but for a game, no.
Not when
I
there's
think
other
there are
alternatives
still
out there.
families that will buy the consoles, but it's like just the ones that have the most money
Rich.
and not the
Average
yeah
person.
the rich
could have
people
kind of
or like the slightly rich people too, but yeah, and the YouTubers too as well,
Yeah.
because
Well, they'll buy double.
YouTubers
They'll buy
do the
double.
content.
Yeah, but the
They'll buy double. They'll buy two basically, and be like, "Hey guys, don't buy the Switch," and then go off and buy two. It's like you bought two of them. You're playing right into their hands. Sorry, Dragon. It's like you're just playing
no,
right
you're
into their hands.
No, y'all. But any of y'all want to add in something as I'm going, like that's fine. I'm the one who doesn't know much, so I mean, y'all let me know these things helps. That way I know what to say correctly. But yeah, no, it's like, to simply put, I agree. I don't think it's the pricing. My God, Nintendo, do that if you want, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Nintendo, you ever watch our videos of these things? I'm gonna tell it to you right now to your face. You are not going to get people to buy your games like that. You are being delusional and crazy, and just know. You want to stick to your roots and try to still have the image of what you were at your roots? You are completely going off track and no one's going to buy your games at those kind of prices. I really suggest you look in a mirror. Like, good God's sake. I agree with the pricings. That's all I can really say on that. It's just that I want to follow y'all. No, they need to. No, that needs to change. That they really go through with that. All that I can say is, Nintendo, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're literally shooting yourself in the foot. You're asking to be looked at badly. And then when it comes to some of his functions, yeah, I agree with what Doom said. Like, for some of the functions, and y'all saying, y'all mentioned about some of the functions to it, like the whole having to like Doom and Candace said about, for some functions, about needing you get a card or whatever, you get a graphic card or whatever, but then you start to pay for like doing
go
other
for God.
things.
Yeah.
And, like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
it's
the cards.
Some games, yeah.
Yeah, like if you're not getting, like Doom has said, if you're not gonna get any more features from it, like really you expect us to, what is an in-game tutorial thing of just doing what a PS5 did, the first one to do it, give us an in-game little play game room eternal lobby in it system already just to give you a tutorial of how the game functions, and expect us to pay for that kind of stuff that should have just been in it to begin with, or happen to pay those extra costs on top of the extra things to even apply it after buying the other assets to it, and then still paying extra shit just to activate it? Yeah, no, that's... Excuse me? What the heck?
The C button
Like,
on the chat for the chat system is basically going to be a paywall, so
Yeah, and like no one's
Yeah.
gonna want
right
to...
there.
And if you don't pay, the C button will be always here to remind you that you didn't pay.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
man.
think C is for credit card, not
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much. And that's just like, you want to be consumer friendly. You're doing anything but that by doing that. You're doing the complete opposite. And no one in their right average mind can afford to keep up that. Is going to sit there and do that for their system and be going through all that nonsense. No. And then on top of that, to kind of go with that, the fact that you gotta be, apparently from y'all said, apparently something about like they're getting where it's like you have to be online to even play anything. Like there's some games and things you have to do on it that you can't even make the console function without being online at all. It's like, wait, so you mean to tell me you're going to sit there and make a system that requires online just to even function itself?
That's
The
was Xbox One.
No, that's Xbox One. I don't think the Switch 2
no.
thankfully has that. No.
That was for the Xbox One, not that Switch 2.
I was just saying, like there was a comment when like the Xbox One was coming out that when like the like one of like the guys that worked with Xbox, he made a comment that really did not help the Xbox One at all. Like like there was a comment he said. And with the Switch 2, it basically happened again with that a comment of that similar came up that they kind of was like, well, why should I buy the new console where I could just buy the old one? or play
Yeah.
the old
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
That's what-
yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and,
agree with
I
that.
was just saying this is actually worse than the Xbox One because it's an entirely new console with just a higher price of like both the console and especially the games that it will have.
Yeah, yeah, that's
much,
what,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah, and that's just a bit like, I mean, just saying that alone is like you're asking people to look at it and be like, you know, there's so many cons that y'all might try to pull with the system to where it's like you're just going backwards and doing things that Xbox and other people have done that would just like you can't play the system like that. You wouldn't be able to play it correctly if you want to play by yourself on a one-player game, and having to do special things just to even play a game by yourself. Like that's why, yeah, like the meme there. It's like that's basically what y'all are doing by saying that kind of stuff. And
Yeah,
even
yeah,
saying-
that's. I think that was like the comment. Like, can't afford the Switch 2? Stick with the Switch 1.
Switch one,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I mean, if you're trying to sell your if you want to buy your Switch 2, like you're by saying that you're just asking, you're giving us more concrete reason to say that, yeah, no, you want to sell the system, you're basically defeating the purpose by doing that, and you're showing signs that we should suspect there's something about it that's going to cause issues for it trying to play with itself if you want to play one-player games, and you might do something shady in the long run at some point. That's just even more deterrent to say, no, there's no point in buying it. Like, what are you doing? You want to sell the system, but you're completely sabotaging it by saying the shit you're saying. Like, why are you...
It is
Like-
it is basically self-sabotage. Yeah, it's you're basically saying like, oh, okay.
Like, why? They just hint at too many things where they make it to where it's like, you shouldn't even bother with it. And so, what's the point of the system then? Why? Like,
Oh yeah, the funny thing is that if they change their mind and lower the price, players will be like, wow, they listen to the people, and they were more inclined to. They will be more inclined to buy the console.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's
I
part
mean,
of
yeah.
the plan. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, I could see it happening.
If this
That
works, they have more money. If this doesn't work, the people will still buy it because they lower the price.
Yeah, which I mean, it'd be a smart thing for them to do, but if they'll actually do it, God only knows. It certainly would be a more sensible thing to do. But we'll have to see. I mean, either way, they're definitely doing stuff that just sabotage themselves. And it's like, it makes you wonder, why? But why bother?
Yeah, I know.
So, and then that's all. So, in that regard, that's all I could, yeah. And so that's all I can say on that regard for that. Something else I was mentioned that I know I wanted to rant on. I mentioned so many things. Now I'm forgetting some of it because I'm
Yeah.
only just now knowing it. Let's see, there was that. Dang it! I know there's more y'all touched on that I wanted to say or I've already commented about, but I forgot some of it now. Jesus. So there was, let's see, there was the prices, how the system works as a whole. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I agree, like that the whole little attachment thingies you mentioned, Shadow, about the what did y'all call those things? The
Camera?
The Joy-Cons?
the Joy-Cons.
Oh,
there you go,
Joy-Cons. Okay.
Yeah, like
The controllers are Joy-Cons.
that's such a bad design. Like, why would you make it where? I mean, I get the idea. It's as our friend Doom has said in some things with stuff. It's called, good idea, but bad execution. Because even the way they got their thing designed somewhat is bad, because you're just going to wear it out eventually, and then the part's going to stop working, and it's just kind of designed to fail itself at some point, one way or another. So, like, what's the point of it then? Nintendo, why can't y'all make it to where that shouldn't, like, you should be able to make it to where, you try to technically be able to make it to where that shouldn't wear out on itself and become an issue for using it. Why make a part of its thing that you're supposed to do with it and use to help for certain functions can collapse on itself eventually from wear and tear, instead of making sure it's going to be able to stay working right? Like, what? There's so many issues about that. It's like, why? you would think they'd be able to have it more, like, not do that. You would think. But
I mean,
no.
in most cases, yeah, but no. They're just, yeah.
Like, it doesn't make
Yeah,
any
yeah.
sense.
Nope. It really doesn't, especially given who they were as a company and what they are. It really doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, because like I said, I growing up on that, because I was a person born in the late 1980s / going into the 90s. So, I mean, I grew up playing all that kind of stuff. And it's just everything they had back, like Nintendo, I grew up in Canada, like Canada said. They're a company that back then when they started, they completely knew what they were doing and they did good and they actually had their stuff together. It was so much more, everything about it was so much more affordable. It was far more simple. And it was far more just easier to play and do and have fun with, in a system worth buying.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was worth getting stuff from them. Now, it's like, yeah, no, that's just going completely out the window. They completely 360'd themselves on that entirely. So, I really want to. It's like Nintendo. What they become so much daggone just business anti-consumer. It's ridiculous. Because they started out as anything but that, and now they've just gone that direction hardcore. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's become arrogant because of their success.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I can
That's what it
guarantee
all
they
comes
never.
back to.
I can guarantee that during the Wii U day, they will never have done that. I can guarantee it.
Oh, yeah,
No, they wouldn't have. They wouldn't have even tried it. They would not have even attempted it because they'd have known their head would have been shut off.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I mean, like the Wii, like even the Wii systems themselves that they came up with, like, I mean, the Wii started out so good, and I mean, to me, the Wii, like when they started trying to make the Wii systems, the Wii related systems, the very first one they ever made, I thought that was pretty good, and they still were pretty much on the right track, and I felt like that was a good system in itself, all things considered, for what it was worth. But, you know, I mean, it had some of its problems with it here and there, but I mean, the games were pretty friendly consumer to get on. You could easily access and play them without much restrictions. In the overall system, I mean, sure, unless you played really specific games, it was kind of a hit and miss with some of this games. But I mean, at least it was an enjoyable system, and it was affordable. But now, again, that's something else that went from, as Canada said, they started out so good, and now it's just completely falling off.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how to start
Fucking
off good
greedy.
that way without moving into a direction with stuff that's just like asking to fail.
Rest in
Company.
peace, Switch 2.
Yeah, pretty much at this point. Like they're really going to cause
Yep, rest in
themselves.
peace.
Yeah, even I feel like they keep going this direction. They're going to shoot themselves in the foot, and just it's going to create so much problems. It's going to create so much problems. They're going to be basically trying to make other companies feel and should see the dumb idea that it's okay to do what they're doing and condone it. And eventually, as y'all said already, like, I hate to kind of agree with Cormac on this. I'm hoping it never comes to that, but yeah, it might see the end of video game errors because no one's going to be able to afford it.
A second
At
video
all.
game crash.
Yeah,
At
Yeah.
least on consoles, maybe the PC games
Yeah.
will still continue. I think if there's such a crash, this might be the end of console as we know them, and maybe this will be an era of PC and mobile only. We'll see.
Yeah, and sadly though, and I mean sadly, when it comes to mobile, I feel like now that would kind of depend, because I mean there's definitely something to do from a mobile perspective for phones and certain things. If we go into that tangent, yeah, at least with my working experience, that might not. If that gets heavily forced and then have to be relied on, that would eventually run itself out too, because a good bit of certain things they make for phones and certain stuff like that nowadays, for some phones, they say it's supposed to be capable and work on it just fine, but in my experience, yeah, no, it doesn't. And even that doesn't make some stuff that even phones and whatnot don't work the way they should, that they claim it should. Or if it does, it only works for a while. You have it as a new phone, nothing wrong with it, and had bought it brand new while it's fresh and never been used much or anything. Otherwise, it don't last long either.
Oh yeah, I have to add something. Is that why would you pay $80 or $90 for a game when you can just play Genshin Impact for free, Fortnite for free, Roblox for free? Like there's so many good games that you can find for free pretty easily, and they are played by millions of players.
Microtransactions.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I mean,
why
like,
would you? Yeah.
Yeah, those,
I mean,
those games have microtransactions, just like what the Doom says. They have microtransactions, so pay to win, let's say.
Yeah, because I mean, like, whether you're doing it from a phone, because like some of those games, because like that's a good, because I mean, like, seriously, like, where you're playing those kind of games on a phone, a console, whatever, like, yeah, you get those again where those are becoming free to play on multiple things, so they're gonna push it to a point where it's like, yeah, you might as well just play that, because even if it's somewhat predatory and whatnot, it's free to play.
Yeah, you won't have to pay $90
anything. You just
to play.
have the device and you're good.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to pushing people to want to just play free-to-play games only, which they don't make enough of, and/or even if they do, most of them are just really only like teetered toward really specific kind of players, and eventually, like, there's just not going to be enough there's not going to be enough free-to-play games for anyone to play, and that's just not going to be much of anything for anyone to do unless they have it on a phone and try to find enjoyment out of phone games only, which, like I've already said, at least with my experience with it, they say they're supposed to work for certain apps. Those are supposed to work on certain mobiles. Well, at least from my luck, no, they don't. Not too well, at least. So, and then, you know, people can't afford a good phone enough to play it correctly. Well, then goes that option too. Like, they're just, it's getting really bad about how this stuff is going. Like, you might as well play play games at this point with the way they're going. They keep going like this, and all companies start doing it, right? You might as well just start playing free-to-play games.
The video game, playing video games is more and more expensive as time passes, and it becomes like an expensive lobby right now.
Yeah, it's
really
again,
expensive one.
Yeah, it's starting to become very pricey for sure. Like, and
even if you go retro, even the retro games are expensive now, so you can't even come back unless you play emulators. But even emulators got banned, so we can't win. We cannot win.
Yeah, not for anything. Like, it's so bad. It's getting so bad, and it's sad because Nintendo started off with such a company that'd be the one company you think you'd always be able to rely on. And they would stay on their roots, and they were good, and you could count on them for good entertainment without it being pricey.
Yeah, it's a change. Because of the change of higher ups, and then depending on who's at top dog on Nintendo, the different higher ups. So the effect is different. The last one way to be more pro-consumer over here is to make the business side happy, not the consumer side happy.
Yep. Yeah, and that's where they're going wrong. Because, I mean, like, Nintendo was always known for that at first, and I mean, that's why a lot of people bought stuff from them. That's why we bothered to, as a person grew up playing their games from that genre era. That's the reason why I loved to play their games. That's why I found their stuff entertaining, because you could do it that way, and because it was. Now, yeah, you won't expect me to be doing that because, well, Shadow's already said. Look, I'm sorry, I could be a rich person But even with what they're doing, even if I was a rich person who could afford to bother to pay for the stuff, I'm going to keep what I have and say, heck with that. I'm good. I don't need it. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, and it
Because-
comes out
Oh,
to
yeah.
morals as well.
No.
Morally isn't right.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
reminds
like-
that reminds me that at least here in Canada, it might be different in the other side of the world. The price of life is increasing each year, but our salary does not increase. So we have
No, it's the same here.
so we have less consumer power to buy hobbies. For example, to buy people will prioritize things necessary for survival, like paying for the rent or mortgage and food, things necessary for survival, and then things like video games or movie, music, going to the gym, all that. Those are hobbies. Hobby is not necessary for survival. Hobbies are good for your mental health, but not necessary for survival. So less people will spend on hobbies. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and even here in my even here in my state, it is getting like that too. Sadly, like it's getting like that. So Nintendo, yeah, you wanted to try to make it as being the company you were and trying to be a business that people are going to buy stuff from. The direction you're going, don't count on it. Don't count on it. Like you're setting yourself up for fail. So
Yeah. I think
And I
we've
know
covered
you'll-
everything, have we?
yeah, because I mean there was also something I remember I wanted to speak on, but I can't remember what it is. So I'll just let what I said be enough.
Yeah.
That's I feel like I've already talked enough ways. So but I know
Okay.
I agree with y'all. I agree with all the downs y'all said. Like I completely agree with it, and just
It's just a wait.
Nintendo-
It's really, it's just a wait and see. Like we'll just have to wait and see how the system performs and what the general response is. But I don't think it's a good move because a lot of people, myself included, went from buying the system day one to now not buying it at all until either the games go down or the price is somewhat lowered. But
Yeah,
it's
so-
not a good feature.
okay.
Yeah.
for me, for my final statement, is
That's
that
my
in the
consensus.
okay. So for me, for my final statement, in the beginning, during the presentation, I said, okay, I might buy day one, but after I saw all that, especially with the game key card, I'm going to wait and see. But I might, we probably eventually buy it because to play the new Pokemon game, which is going to be less laggy, the Pokemon ZA. I know it's a Nintendo 64 game upscaled in HD, but I'm going to buy it anyway because I'm a Pokemon fan. I know.
No, that's fair enough. Like,
Yeah.
you want to buy the games that you're a fan of. Like
Yeah.
I would as well, but there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
That's why I'm going to wait and see.
yeah,
That
same.
was
'cause
my final statement.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll just agree with you there on that because, like, I'm the same. Like, I mean, if I had the money and they would go down with it, and depending on what they do with it, fully when they start making them and they fully put everything out, legitimately, and they've made up their minds. I mean, like, I would too because I'm a Pokemon person as well and whatnot. I mean, I would too for certain games and stuff from them if they would do that. But until they do, that they're asking too much. Nope. Asking too much.
Yeah. Any last word, Doom, and the callback?
Well, I'll do mine. For there's kind of two things I'll say. The first one is that Nintendo, they kind of got like forced into showing the Switch 2 because of there was like leaks before it was announced.
Oh yeah,
Of,
that's
like,
right. Yeah.
It was like with the power of the Switch 2 and all that. Like they kind of got
that's
like
right.
forced into it, and that they announced it like in January of like here comes the next console in Nintendo's line, which is the Switch 2. So they kind of got forced into it because of the leaks, which in a sense, like, yeah, leaks are bad, but at the same time, you also have to think about of like things can change, and you have to take those leaks with like a grain of salt because whatever you might hear, even with all the sources backing up, it could change in an instant, and it can be completely different.
Yeah, I mean, that's
With that, to follow it, and kind of with that comp statement, I'll follow it up, is that the Switch 2 is still not out yet. It's gonna come out in June 5th.
In like
and
2 months, almost 2 months.
It could something could change between now and the release of the Switch 2. If anything could change, probably the game's pricing, but that's about it. Until then, we'll have to wait till June when the Switch 2 is released and see what happens.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's a change they will do, because that.
There's one thing I can guarantee, that all the hardcore Nintendo fans will buy it day one. It's like that for each console. So maybe 5 billion. So let's say the first 5 billion unit will sell like that. That's my prediction. After that, we're going to see it might get slower.
Yeah. There might be some hardcore people that buy it off the rip.
Yeah.
Here, I mean,
Like 5 millions. That's my prediction.
I'm pretty sure it will.
I agree.
Starting out, but I don't think it will last very long. It probably will start off selling a lot and then die down pretty quickly. I agree with you. I don't feel like that'll.
You'll have the initial rush, but it'll kind of
initial rush.
Yeah.
But only the hardcore people are probably going to be the ones to do that. I agree. It's probably only the hardcore people that's going to do that. Any typical common leisure person with their games and whatnot? But no. Not even.
Okay, Korvac, I think you're the only one that hasn't given a statement. Do you want to give one?
Yeah. I bought the Switch 1 for a few games like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Fire Emblem Three House, and Engage later. Animal Crossing. I have not that much game, maybe 5 or 6 games on it. And while I played a lot of the games for the first or second year, I didn't played it that much after that, and my Nintendo Switch 1 takes too much dust. Meanwhile, they expect me to buy a more expensive console and more expensive games for a console that I will probably not even use, because I can play on PC. I have hundreds or thousands of games on PC, so yeah, for me, Nintendo Switch 2 for now is a big no. So yeah, fuck off Nintendo.
Yeah,
I love the golden mustache of Miku. That's good.
Yeah, fuck off Nintendo, damn right. I agree. Until they change this shit, yeah. I mean, it's just.
By the way, Henry. So I don't know if you have fallen asleep. So do you want to add anything about the Nintendo Switch 2?
I think whatever happens to Nintendo Switch 2, your mustache will be wonderful.
Yes, that's good. That's good. Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else on the agenda, or have we covered everything?
Yeah. So I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go make some food. So.
Okay. Okay. So this was the end of the podcast. So bye everyone. So if you're watching me for the first time, do not subscribe to my channel. Never ever subscribe to my channel. That way you will not miss my next episode. Bye everyone. I will see
Bye.
you
Thanks, guys.
next time.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed the video.